Anyway, world leaders are calling for calm and de-escalation in the Middle East after, as we reported yesterday, Israel launched airstrikes against Iran.
Well, according to reports, 3 drones were shot down with explosions heard at an airbase near the city of Isfahan.
Now, the strike thought to be in response to last weekend's attack when Iran fired drones and missiles at Israel.
Well, joining us now is Defence Editor at the Evening Standard, Robert Fox. And Robert, is it safe to say that we can all breathe a sigh of relief for now?
I think you're right. There's a pause for reflection now for very good reason, because there's been some very interesting Israeli comment, not part of the government or of the military setup, in the more liberal press, things like the Times of Israel, very good online paper, Haaretz, which I look at every morning, both available in English, are saying that, that a lot of this wasn't really long-term pre-planned reactions going on. And I think that this is what's so fascinating, is both Tehran and Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, are thinking where they are. They have sent signals to each other which they understand. The strike, there are 3 things we have to go through. The strike on the Damascus consulate, which actually hit much harder, I think, than the Israelis expected. Right. Because they hit a command cell of the elite of the Revolutionary Guard Corps. And this really hit that element, which is the elite, very active outside Iran, very, very hard indeed. That's why there was going to be an extreme reaction. It was extreme, though mild in effect, but it was extreme in that it was an attack on Israeli territory from Iran. How do they do it? They do it with swarm tactics. See whether it works. This is what we've got. Let's see how you respond to that. And Israel has responded, and I think this has been really clever, whether by accident or by design, by the Israeli authorities. They haven't said what they really did. Now, you have reported that they were drones. The Israeli press is reporting it was a strike around Isfahan on a key area, sending a signal by 3 very precise air-launched missiles from aircraft. I think it was a bit of both. There was a lot of, now you see me, now you don't. Now, let's see where we are. And you get the chorus of the backers around saying, be careful, do this, do that. But the 2 principal players are eyeballing each other. And the interesting thing is neither is blinking so far, but neither seems to want to go crazy.
Which is reassuring.
Which is unusual for me to say.
Well,
that,
yeah, it is. I mean, what's also interesting in this is Iran has talked about the attacks coming from within the country, from infiltrators, which is, A, it's intriguing, but B, does that then give them a bit of a get-out clause to say we don't necessarily need to respond?
Well, I don't want to sound partisan here. It's not nonsense. It has happened in the past. Copter drones have been launched from within. And this is the thing that really worries the Iranian regime, because there are dissident groups. We know that IS is active there, and there are, would you believe it, racial tensions between the Azeri minorities in the north, which are a big minority, and the Farsi, the Persians. And there is a sense, and I think the caution of the Iranian regime reflects that particular part of the regime, revolution in 1979, they're very, very old indeed, and they are coming to an end. I mean, the Ayatollah, the supreme leader, cannot be around forever, and he's looking desperately for a successor. They've mentioned his son. I'm talking about Ayatollah Khamenei, and that's not going down too big either. It's very, very interesting. What one wants to know is what the Israelis are saying to the Americans at the moment with regard to Gaza. I think the Americans have been saying, get it wrapped up. I think that the Israelis are saying, we've got to go into Rafah because that's where the remaining command, and it is difficult, of Yahya Sinwar and his team of Hamas are. But there's that. But it's very interesting how in the United States, I don't want to make it too complicated, how the Israeli-Iran issue and Ukraine are going together. And that comes possibly could come up today to the floor of the House as to whether they're going to give extra money for further support for Israel. It will be an backup, particularly for things like the Iron Dome system. But more desperately needed is air defences for Ukraine. That message appears to be getting through, and I think there will be a package that will come to the House in the next few days because things are pretty desperate. But again, absolutely against the odds, the Ukrainians are fighting back.
OK. Robert Fox, good to see you this morning. Thank you very much indeed.